Hi, and welcome to the Toon Goons, the podcast in which we take an adult and critical perspective into the world of cartoons and animation and analyze how they affect the pop cultural landscape at large. I'm one of your hosts, Nikki.
I'm Nina.
And I hate middle school so much.
That's everybody. You need to give a name. That's the whole globe.
That's the world.
I am the world.
Our guest host this week is Legion, apparently.
I am the world. I am the children.
But not half of the ones in this show, because they sucked. The other half were great. I'm them.
The other half were just trying to do their best.
Yeah, everybody was just
and probably the first half was trying to do their best too, but they were just really bad at it. Their best was like super bad. This week we are talking about Wandering Sun, a anime about trans youth based off of a manga of the same name. And I want to put out here in the front that none of us are trans. We're all trans allies, as if that's something that should be considered remarkable.
Give us cookies.
It just means that we're not dickheads about it.
Yeah.
We are. I mean, if you're familiar with our show, you know that we try to be sensitive to everything, especially including this. If we say anything ignorant or incorrect,
or dumb and bad,
please know it comes from the purest of intentions, and please let us know so that we may rectify and grow as people. Yeah. We are going to have fun, though. This is going to be a fun show.
We will apologize on air, probably more than you want us to. We're going to make you feel really awkward about calling us out, but still do it.
Yeah, I mean the last time we talked about trans characters, we made a pretty big mistake. So
yeah, there was a slip-up of word choice. It was an honest mistake that we own. I own it. It was me who did it.
It was your mistake. It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah.
Just under that bus.
I dove under the bus. It's like, everybody look.
Look, it's me!
Nina was gonna push me under the bus, but like I had already moved. She just pushed the dust cloud.
You pulled the bus over yourself like a warm comforter in a cold winter night.
Just okay. Hold on, I gotta put the wheel over my chest, or like it's just like I'm just like that scene from Toy Story. Like it's gotta crush me.
Yeah. But one thing, I guess we'll get into it when we start talking about the show proper. But the show itself is from a very like specific perspective of like kids who don't have Tumblr or the internet to tell them what they're supposed to say. So even the kids themselves who are trans will sometimes use a language that's not up to speed of the current Western queer politics.
We've got like at least a decade on them though, so we have severely less excuse.
Yeah, so anywho.
Yeah. Before we get into that, which is going to be funny, but it's also going to be heavy, so strap in for one of those. We got some news that's fun, and I don't think there was any bullshit this week.
Not really. So first thing I've got here is a film called Big Fish and Begonia, which is a Chinese-Korean fantasy feature. It's going to be arriving in theaters in China and Korea on July 8th. It's super colorful and really amazing, and it's got wonderful visuals. It takes inspiration from classic Chinese folktales. The film follows a teenage girl on a journey through a strangely altered world where the earth and sea blend more fluidly than in our reality. In the form of a dolphin, she sets out to find the human who saved her and repay the favor. It does give sort of a Spirited Away-esque vibe in the sense that there's like a lot of magical, mystical shit just like all over the place.
And there were a couple of shots that like resembled shots from Spirited Away, like the bit with the person taking the flame out of her head resembled like the name thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Also, it said dolphin. It's like a lot of things, like a dolphin and maybe kind of a koi and maybe also a narwhal
and a bird.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on.
It's produced by Beijing's B&T Studio, and it has help from the South Korean animation house Studio Mirror, which you might recognize as the studio that worked on The Legend of Korra.
I wanted to say it looked really Korra-ish, but I didn't want to be wrong.
Yeah, it looks like if Studio Mirror animated a Ghibli movie. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Like, the Ghibli comparisons are kind of inevitable for a lot of reasons, and you can definitely tell that they took inspiration from Miyazaki's work. But, again, from what we can see in the trailer, it looks like it definitely has its own identity.
Yeah, definitely. I like the bleeding of sky and ocean. Like, it's the same thing. It's really cool and creative.
It also looks like it's a lot more of an intense movie than what Miyazaki has ever done, really. Or, you know... I guess it was Mononoke, which I've never seen all of because all the DVDs are broken when they look at me. But, you know, it seems like this is, you know, got a lot of, like, more octane to it.
Yeah, there seems like to be some crazy stakes. But I don't know, I really want to watch it. It's so pretty. Like, I just want to, like, sink into this movie. So much.
Yeah,
maybe it'll get a Western release, and since it's not Miyazaki, John Lasseter won't touch it, so we're good.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean it looks like it's already a triumph, and I haven't even seen the whole thing yet, or any of it. But yeah. Alrighty. Let's see here. So next up is something kind of different, but Cartoon Network and, you know, Turner Broadcasting has paired up or teamed up with the city of Dubai to create their first major themed entertainment destination or theme park. It's going to be the world's largest indoor theme park. Of course it is. It's going to open...
It's probably beating a record that Dubai currently holds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there are buildings in Dubai where you literally don't have to ever leave. Because everything
not just
you could
the Burj.
ever want is inside the building.
The Burj is like all of Dubai again in one building.
It's a smaller Dubai. Mm-hmm. Inside Dubai.
So it's going to open August 15th of this year. And it's going to have rides and attractions featuring Ben 10, Adventure Time, Powerpuff Girls, and The Amazing World of Gumball.
Because you know who doesn't have enough fun? Millionaires.
It's called IMG Worlds of Adventure. It's 1.5 million square feet. And it's the world's largest temperature-controlled indoor-theme entertainment destination, with a capacity to admit more than 30,000 guests every day.
What's the capacity for Disneyland? Let me see if I can find
Disney's outside.
That's true.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be an interesting comparison.
But Disneyland, that might be a thing. Disney World, definitely not.
Yeah. Well, Disney World is 20 different parks.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rides...
Can't find it on a cursory Goog, so fuck it.
So the rides himself, the Ben 10 ride, it's a 5D ride. Okay.
So you smell stuff?
Well, that's 4D.
That's 4D.
God.
It's
you gotta sign a waiver? Is it like one of those haunted houses?
It's like the Shrek thing.
Am I gonna get dragged?
I don't know. It says it's called Hero Time and will immerse audiences in the midst of a real-life battle with Ben and Rook in an epic 5D multi-sensory theater experience.
Okay, so, like, I've seen, like, 4D shows where they, like, mist you with water, or the stuff, or like, some carpet rustles by your feet and you think there's rats. And one in Animal Kingdom, which we've talked about as the worst Disney park, where it, like, jabs you in the spine and it really fucking hurts.
Yeah, that was awful.
Fun fact, that mouse one, it was from the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids ride. I remember specifically that one because when I was a kid, and also when I'm just home existing, I sit really stupid. Like, my legs don't, like, for some reason, if you just leave me to my own devices, eventually my feet will come off the floor. So when that happened... everyone starts panicking and freaking out, and I'm looking around to me very confused with my knees up to my chin.
There's also the Powerpuff Girls ride called a Mojo Jojo's Robot Rampage, which we actually have a picture of here, and it looks rad.
It looks better constructed than most of the episodes that have come out lately.
Yeah. The girls have their original designs, as far as I can tell.
Not that there's that huge of a difference.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, like you can see the front of Buttercup, and I don't see the cowlicks, so...
Hopefully they finish this park and it doesn't end up like a good chunk of the major construction projects they've tried to build there, and then they just give up and leave it there.
The Adventure Time ride is called the Ride of Ooh, and it's a scenic ride high above the park.
Ooh.
And then the Gumball ride is an interactive remote game in which fans can enjoy zapping objects that are threatening to take over the town of Elmore. There's also going to be branded restaurants, retail locations, and the world's largest Ben 10 retail store.
Again, what's the competition?
I don't know.
I don't know. Now I have something to do in Dubai other than, like, be in a hotel room with dolphins in my, like in a giant tank or something. This is cool. I wish this was in a more accessible location.
Yeah, that's the real thing. I feel like this is almost a non-story because it's like, unless, like, I don't know how big our pull is in Dubai. I know, like, one person who's, like, from Dubai, and I don't even think they're there anymore, and I don't know them very well. I don't think they listen to this. Maybe they should.
It does beg the question why they haven't made, like, Cartoon Network themed theme park rides or features in other places. Like,
I mean, Warner Brothers has pull at Six Flags.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's just like, plop the ping pong ball in and knock over a milk can and get a really shitty Bugs Bunny plush that'll break on the car ride home.
It's full of scarabs. It's so old.
I mean, I'm looking at this Powerpuff Girls ride, and I really want to ride it. Like, how fast does it go? There's, like, chest holsters and shit.
Yeah, it looks like a variant. Like, there's the Dumbo ride at Disney World, where it's just like one of those things where it goes up and down and spins you around. But, like, yeah, it's got like a roller coaster harness, like it's gonna fuck you up.
I want a 1-to-1 scale dynamo robot from Powerpuff Girls, like the Gundam they have in Japan.
Yes. Oh man.
It's Dubai. Just fuck it. Just do it. I could probably find enough money on the ground there to pay my loans.
All right. So remember how we talked about Project Ito's the Empire of Corpses last week?
Yeah.
Well, apparently Funimation is releasing, I guess, all 3 of these Project Ito films to theaters for a limited release, and the next one coming up is called Harmony. It's produced by Studio 4 Degrees Celsius, co-directed by Michael Arias and Takashi Nakamura, who worked on Akira. The previous person worked on Tekken Kincrete. I don't know. They're going to be doing, again, both English subtitled and dubbed versions, over 60 theaters across the country. The dates are May 17th and 18th, so that gives you a little bit more time to plan ahead than the previous film.
We can actually help people this time.
Yeah. So the whole deal with Ito is that he was a sci-fi author who died at a very early age from cancer. And apparently his stuff has won a lot of prizes, both in Japan and also like outside of Japan, and like more general sci-fi awards. And this project is like, I guess, to bring more awareness to his works and maybe raise money for cancer or something. I don't know. There's a lot of Project Ito kind of things swirling around. But this is the second part of the theatrical releases. And the film itself is about a future ruled by an unwavering dedication to good health. 3 high school girls led by the defiant Maek Mihei attempt suicide as the ultimate act of rebellion. One of them survives but can't shake the hatred she has for the perfect world she lives in. Years later, simultaneous mass suicide rocks the globe and sends society into a state of shock. A small group stands up to take credit for the event, claiming they've hijacked the consciousnesses of every person on the planet. Everything about the terrorist message sounds too familiar to our main protagonist. She suspects her old friend Miach might be involved, and how could that be when she supposedly killed herself years earlier? Desperate for answers, our main protagonist, whose name is Tuan, launches an investigation that takes her across the globe, chasing the ghost of her old friend. But what is Miach's endgame? Will she finally wake the world from its monotonous slumber?
And will Batman catch the Penguin?
Yeah, I don't. There's a lot of shit going on. It's the future. It's medicine, pills,
dystopia,
thought crimes,
terrorists.
There was one shot where it looked like two women were gonna kiss.
That's all. I saw that too, and I was like, I don't care. I'm not really whatever. I'll watch it.
That was the same thing with the last Project Ito movie. It was like, wait, he has a boyfriend. That's a dead dude. Yes. Again, it doesn't take a lot to sway us.
Yeah, no, we're shallow and awful. Also, like, I noticed...
Also, these trailers are just, like, from the perspective of what makes a good trailer, they're not great.
It was the most Hollywood trailer of an anime movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It had, like, the fucking...
Well, it didn't have any brown.
Yeah.
But the chanting, like... You know movies better than I do. I'm pretty illiterate. Like, I know Matrix did that. Like, what's like something earlier that did like the stupid chanting?
Man, I don't know. They kind of put the cherry on that Sunday. After that came out, everybody kind of forgot everything the Matrix was influenced by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Matrix is so trite now that you forget how much it changed the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really.
I mean,
do.
really, it was just a fucking live action Western anime movie. Like, there's. It's basically like a less philosophical Ghost in the Shell.
Pretty much. And then they later went ahead and had anime directors make short films based on The Matrix and release that DVD
we should
set.
do those.
Are those really good?
Oh, yeah, a lot of them are great.
Oh, awesome.
And then you say that Kids Next Door did like a shot-for-shot homage.
Yes, we'll
to
we'll do the Animatrix and then watch the specific Kids Next Door episode that parodied one of them to a T.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
For nobody's benefit.
Literally for me. I watched that going like, what? Why? Because I was in middle school and loved The Matrix.
Did they air the Animatrix on Toonami?
No.
At least?
It would have been Adult Swim.
Adult Swim?
Maybe. I don't remember because I immediately bought the DVD box set that had it on there anyway. I have since sold it.
Maybe we'll do that sooner rather than later, because that's probably shorter.
But speaking of other stuff that we should look into, I noticed that you kind of faltered when you mentioned one of their other projects they worked on, Tekken Kincrete. And
yeah,
I
had not heard of that.
I thought that said Tekken.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Let me Google it.
Because I had heard of that. It's been around for a minute, and it got a lot of buzz when it first dropped. It's like an award-winning anime movie based on a seinen manga. We should probably
cool.
check that out.
Put this is so cool.
Possible Japanuary.
Too many details. I'm going to throw up.
Oh my god! It's like if the whole movie was that first painting from Akira.
Yeah,
or that
basically.
like opening sequence from the Cowboy Bebop movie, but like more colors.
Yeah.
Anyway, so look forward to that. Check it out. I guess try to support it if it's even slightly interesting to you, so we can get more of these kinds of anime movies being released here in our theaters, which isn't something that happens a lot.
The dub seems decent.
And also, hopefully, this Chinese movie that I really, really want to see.
I really want to see it. Okay. And last but not least, we finally have the trailer for the much anticipated and much apprehensively anticipated Batman the Killing Joke animated feature that DC is doing. Normally, I guess we don't talk about all the DC direct-to-DVD specials, but this one's a little significant because, for one, we have...
we've talked about a few, and also this is the highest profile one in a long time and maybe ever.
Yeah, that's why we're talking this one definitely, because for one thing, Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy are returning as their, Joker and Batman respectively, and Tara Strong as Barbara Gordon as well. And, The Killing Joke is a pretty high-profile Batman story. It's getting a lot of buzz. It's like the first rated R thing Disney Entertainment, I think, may have done.
Disney?
Warner Brothers.
Disney. Warner Brothers, DC Entertainment may have done. Oh, boy. And if you don't know The Killing Joke, it's a pretty significant Batman story that is both very well, highly acclaimed, but also very highly criticized for good reason.
Yeah. One of its biggest critics is its author, Alan Moore.
Not surprisingly, that man is a mess.
You see, I love Alan Moore. I think his work is phenomenal. Like, if you're not familiar, he wrote Watchmen, he wrote League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, he wrote the way, way unsung Top 10.
Yeah.
Read that. That is... Top 10, if you're not familiar, is about a world where everybody is a superhero, and it's just, they just like go on their goddamn day-to-days, and it's about the cops who police the other superheroes, and it's like, it's funny. I don't know that Alan Moore could do comedy, but he does.
Yeah. He also did He also did the Swamp Thing saga. He did a bunch of V for Vendetta, a bunch of other stuff. He's kind of like this high-profile comic guy.
And then he also played Treebeard in the Lord of the Rings movies.
It wasn't. It was the actor who played Gimli, who played Treebeard. But I know it.
Yeah. To bring you inside the joke, he looks fucking exactly like Treebeard.
He's a crazy mountain man. With a
yeah,
but he looks like an occultist, and that's basically the vibe he wants.
He looks kind of like Ted Krasinski. Now, he's something of a controversial public figure because he runs his mouth a lot and he's very opinionated about stuff, and his opinions aren't always popular. First of all, he hates and actually refuses to see every adaptation of his work, and doesn't even want his name attached to it. Like, I remember seeing V for Vendetta, the credits just said based on the book drawn by whoever. And a lot of that is pretentious bullshit. Like, V for Vendetta is a good movie. Like, obviously, it differs from the book a lot, but it's a good movie. Watchmen is the closest thing to a perfect adaptation of Watchmen you can get. There's some chunky bits because it's almost too shot for shot, and it doesn't. It's a very good movie. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen sucks. That's fine, but he said about The Killing Joke is like I hated that almost immediately after I wrote it. I don't really like Batman. The only Batman stuff that I've liked is like the earlier stuff where it was just silly and fun. This dark, edgy bullshit Batman it sucks. It's needlessly violent and gritty and immaturity, wrapped up in the guise of like being super mature. A lot. Alan Moore's work is very influential, but he is sort of responsible for a lot of the bullshit that came out of American comics in the 90s following the success of Watchmen and stuff of its ilk. And it's like, he doesn't like Batman or the Joker as characters. He thinks that the comic is needlessly violent. He does say, like, I got nothing against the artist who drew it, whose name I can't remember. It's like, he did a great job drawing the bullshit I wrote. And, The Killing Joke is the kind of Batman that I'm really not into either, and it's not the kind of Batman that any of us really go for.
I'm slowly just becoming less and less just into Batman as a thing, and that's the most depressing thing I've ever said in my life. But also, that's got more to do with just comics in general.
Yeah. Now, what does interest... It's very much like... just for everyone's just like an angry, ugly psycho. Which then...
Yeah, definitely.
Very much the... I mean, it's not Frank Miller bad, but it's, it's really in the same vein of stuff. The only thing that interests me about this movie is that I want to hear how Mark Hamill handles this version of the Joker. See, The Killing Joke is very much the kind of superhero story that I'm just completely done with. Like, it's this dark, edgy 90s shit that it's just fucking boring and it's tiresome. But the only thing that does interest me about this is I do want to hear how Conroy and especially Hamill handle these versions of the characters. The thing about Hamill's Joker in the animated series is that because of the way that series was written and the tone of it, he was never that scary. He was just a fun goofball. And, like, he did nasty shit, but he wasn't really as scary as some other iterations of the Joker have been. I remember when Nina and I first watched the Mask of the Phantasm. No. Under the Red Hood, where John DiMaggio actually played the Joker. It's like, it was interesting to hear a scarier, more unhinged animated Joker. And I want to hear Hamill do that because he's got the chops for it. He's a phenomenal actor, and he's got a great handle on this character. And part of that, I think he can
does.
Like a more fucked up joke. Like the Arkham games, are in much more of a Frank Miller aesthetic. Like, they're very fun games, and they actually do some interesting shit with the characters. But aesthetically, they're gross. Like, Nina doesn't like them at all. And that Joker is a scarier psychopath. But I think that this would be the darkest Joker that Hamill's ever done. And I am curious to see just how he pulls that off.
Seeing this trailer, he does look like he's definitely going for it. Like, he's going as crazy as he can from, like, the little we see of him. Like, he doesn't say many, like, words. He's just laughing like a crazy guy because, you know, his laugh is just so iconic at this point. But I feel like Hamill can pull it off. I mean, I kind of like that this article makes a jab at Jared Leto.
For being a dipshit.
For being an asshole. It's like, you know, Hamill's been playing this character longer than anybody else, and he's perfectly sane and happy. I don't know what everybody else gets so freaked out about. No disrespect to the late Heath Ledger. He was dealing with other things, but, like...
Everybody acted like he died because he played the Joker, which is gross and horrible.
Yeah. It probably wasn't. He just, you know...
I heard he interviewed crazy people, man, and it made him crazy. Look at between the lines and follow the trails.
The chemtrails.
The movie was okay. Those gaping plot hole wounds burst open 2 steps out of the theater.
Yeah, and like I saw somebody who was actually commenting on the Killing Joke earlier today on my Twitter, saying like, Ledger in that movie, it's a better performance than it is a character.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He's acting his ass off, but the Joker himself is just like this very thirsty man. He's someone giving him water. His lips are very chapped. He's like...
Yeah. I mean, it's so Nolan. Like, Nolan's whole thing is that it's very impressive at the time, and then you think about it a little bit, and you're like, wait a goddamn minute.
That's that entire trilogy.
But my question is, did the Killing Joke sort of start the dark Batman train, or was it
not really?
That
was the Dark Knight Returns.
Dark Knight Returns was...
Because this came out in 88. So Dark Knight Returns was before then?
Was 85. It was, I think, right before Watchmen.
All right.
Now, it did introduce the crippling of Batgirl, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the big problem about it, actually. That's the biggest problem about it.
There's some really bad gender stuff happening in there.
Well,
yeah,
really,
basically...
The basic thing was, like, they crippled this character, but it's not even about her. They do it... Yeah. The Joker does it to spite specifically her dad. So she has no agency in this situation.
He does it to spite her dad to spite Batman. Like, it's 3 times removed, almost.
And
it's
yet
like pure, woman in the refrigerator syndrome for a character who's so far, like, her own character.
And the craziest thing... Barbara Gordon is such a crazy character with this comic whole... all the continuity bullshit, because I really feel like they made lemonade out of these lemons because, you know, the Oracle was a great character shift for her, if for no other reason than, like, you know, she still became really relevant and helpful, and also, you know, you got the whole disability progress thing going, and then they give her legs back when they do their universe reset and everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, just commit to something. Stop fucking up and then fucking up worse to make it better and then fail.
So one thing we know that this film is going to do is they're going to, I guess apparently they're trying to sort of improve the source material by focusing more on Batgirl herself. Supposedly Batgirl is going to have a 15-minute prequel-like part of the film that will establish her backstory. And it's sort of perhaps going to take it more from her perspective in a way. Like, doing that will make her more of an agent in the story than just, like, a coincidence. Because, like, the Joker doesn't even know that she's Batgirl. The Joker just killed her or just shot her because he's Barbara Gordon. He's Commissioner Gordon's daughter. And it had no regard for the fact that she was Batgirl. Like, at no point, and I think in the original comic, was she Batgirl doing Batgirl things. She was just, like, at her house, like, chilling, and then answered the door and got shot in the spine.
It's perfectly feasible that Alan Moore probably might not have even known. He was like, does Commissioner Gordon have any kids? Hey, some nerd at DC, does he have any kids I can shoot? I don't read these comics. You're paying me.
Yeah. So I am interested in that prequel. I am interested in perhaps an epilogue with her. I am interested to see what they do with her, since they're trying to push her more. Like, she is in this trailer as Batgirl, jumping around, doing her thing.
I just want... I mean, all I want is for Mark Hamill to be happy and satisfied with his performance, because in almost every interview he's been doing since, the Arkham games, he's always said that, like, I'm coming back for these games, but I really, like, the last thing I want to do as the Joker is the Killing Joke. And now he's doing it, and now I'm wondering if he's going to find a new, different thing to come back to.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I am wondering what made them come back, because I thought they said that they were like, we want to do other things, or we want to, like, step back and let other people do these roles because we've been doing it for so long. So
I think it's literally just because it's the Killing Joke. It's just that high profile of a thing for them. It means a lot to them.
It's that high profile, and it sounds like it's an acting challenge for him that he wants to take on.
It's also it's a really good last role for for those characters.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about Hamill, but, like, Conroy's performance in this trailer was also great.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, absolutely, always.
Conroy is overshadowed by Hamill because Hamill's performance is by necessity bigger, but Conroy is also the best Batman because he's got the most nuance.
He's the best Batman that's ever Batmaned ever.
Yeah.
Like, not to say that no one else could be a good Batman in the future and no one else has done a good job.
There have been plenty of people who have done good Batmans.
Yeah.
Conroy has done the best Batman.
Yeah,
people make good Batmans when they're not trying to fucking follow in his footsteps. Like, all my favorite non-Conroy Batmans have always been, like, tonally different Batmans. Like, this Batman's going for a different... Like, I love Dietrich Bader's Batman in Batman the Brave and the Bold because that's the Silver Age,
that's a
chiseled
character.
Like, Boy Wonder Robin Batman, fucking fighting Crazy Quilt and Stilts Man.
Yeah. And then there's, of course,
the
Will Arnett.
Space Ghost.
Yeah, and then, of course, there's a whole Will Arnett Batman, which is a send-up.
Will Arnett.
Yeah, a send-up of terrible Batmans.
Yes.
Although, contrary to what Tooch said, the guy, and I can't remember his name, which sucks, the guy who played him in Young Justice was doing a very Conroy-like performance, and he was great.
Yeah, I think he did a good job in that show.
Yeah, there are good Batman.
He dunked it, but he was doing... It really sounded like he was trying to follow in Conroy's footsteps of, like, that more nuanced, level-headed, complex Batman.
Which is, you kind of need to do, and that show was also kind of necessary, because he was, like, hanging out with all these children that he was sending to go on these dangerous missions. But yeah. Yeah,
like, that... If you're gonna, like, really develop Robin, you need a Batman like that.
Yeah, you definitely do. If you don't care about Robin, or if you're just gonna have him be fun, silly Robin.
like Brave and the Bold, like, it's silly top to bottom. So anyway, that's Batman.
Now the topic at hand.
Before that, there's one other thing.
Skype connection.
There's actually one other thing I want to talk about, and I found a way to relate this to our show. Is that I don't know about you guys. last week was fucking devastated at the passing of Prince.
Of course.
Yeah.
We're losing too many of them, but Prince is indirectly responsible for the best Animaniacs joke, and I think we should celebrate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, and actually, I got a segue from that. You know, the art of getting past the censors is something that really interests me, and how it's... I was thinking recently, because of that joke, about how, like, the goal has changed. In the 90s, it was all about, like, sneaking in the dirty jokes wherever you could by making them really obscure and sending out a bunch of, like, decoys so that the joke you really wanted would get through. And stuff like that is still happening right now, but it's not for the same end goal. With stuff like, especially Adventure Time until, Steven... Gravity Falls. It seems like what they're trying to sneak past the censors is just progressive shit.
Yeah, it's just like normal shit. It's
normal shit that conservative-minded people are like, oh, that's not for kids. Stuff like homosexual relationships, trans representation, all kinds of representation of marginalized people groups that is deemed by these jerkwads in suits as inappropriate for children, which is a form of bigotry, absolutely. And that ties into this show that we're talking about, which is about, among many other things, institutionalized bigotry against LGBT people, especially the trans people.
Yeah. Or the genderqueer people as well.
Non-binary, non-cis individuals.